Did you just graduate? Are you queer or trans and forced to move back home and be isolated and stuck in a cis-het environment where you have to suppress your queer and transness but can't and don't really want to? Well, my post-grad crisis. Maybe you'll relate. So, I graduated last May, and I graduated from a school that is prestigious and that prides itself on being an elite school, being ahead of the curve, whatever, things like that. And I found myself in an abyss of depression and loneliness and isolation post-grad. I don't think it's necessarily the school's fault, but I think the way that people, especially teachers in high school, talk about higher education as if it's going to be this like wonderful experience, it's going to save you from your depression, it's going to save you from your trauma and whatever. I think while I was there, I did feel, I still struggled with my mental health, and like I have bipolar disorder, BPD, psychosis, probably some OCD, and I was diagnosed with ADHD. So I definitely struggled, and I was unhappy in a different way. I love school a lot. I love learning. I loved Sarah Lawrence because you can study what you want to study, and you write papers on what you want to write about. And my research focused on trans men and trans masculine folks from the colonial period to the 21st century. And I took a class called Black Trans Studies, which operated from a decolonial lens. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to talk about my fucking depression and how I lay in bed every day until 12 p.m. because the dread of waking up and being a person is too much. So I did have trouble waking up at school my last year. I woke up every day at 10, sometimes at 3, which is really bad. But I could wear a dress and people would still call me he, I would get my little iced coffee. My walk to get iced coffee was like the best thing for me. Like, I'd be like going on my walks to get my iced coffee, and I would feel so much better. I'd be excited for the day. I'd be better. I try to make coffee at home, iced coffee, but I don't really like the way I make it. Honestly, it's whatever. And like the walk is what really helped me at school, because I lived like 10 minutes away in Hill House. People give Hill House a bad rap, but Hill House is really good because you get your own kitchen, you get a bathroom. I was lucky enough to have my own room. My roommates didn't really talk to me. We were all just random people living together. So it kind of helped me learn how to be alone, because I have BPD and being alone is really difficult for me. But I was basically living alone, and like I would go to the library every day. I really enjoyed it, and I miss it a lot. But anyways, I think that they lied. Meaning, the school lied, and the high school teachers lied about, oh, you're gonna go to school, and your trauma is gonna be healed, and you're gonna meet lots of people, and you're gonna go to parties, and you're gonna fall in love. And it's like, at Sarah Lawrence, I've been to like no parties. When there are parties, it's like, the house is packed, you can't even get in. And I'm not a party person. I don't really like parties. I don't feel good drinking. I actually think I want to be sober because I just feel awful when I drink. And my mom gave me a cap full of like this alcoholic drink, like a cream that you put in like hot chocolate, and I threw up. So I don't really like partying. So I don't really care about that. What I care about is like being forced to go back home. So my school doesn't let you, Sarah Lawrence College does not let you stay on campus for breaks, only Thanksgiving break. And that's really not okay, because you have people who are housing insecure coming to college so that they can be, and they'll be housed for the year. So if you take that away from them, that's really shitty. For me, I had to come back home, and, whether that be my mom's or my dad's, and I do love my parents, they do accept me for being trans for the most part. But there's like other trauma and conflict and passive aggressiveness and trauma again. And it's just a lot, and I think I would have really benefited from being able to stay at least in Hill House, because that functions as an apartment building. So if I stayed there for like a month, I think I would have been a lot better. And, you know, my family, my dad specifically doesn't understand how Sarah Lawrence works and how the conference papers work, which is typically a 20-page independent research paper. Sometimes they'll go lower. Elias, the Black Trans Studies professor, went down to 11 pages. So it really depends. But whatever. My point is, it's hard to, like, be grinding when you're back at home. Because also the environment is totally different. Like, I work really, really well in, like, the library or a coffee shop. If I have to work at home, I have to have a study with me on, like, Unjaded Jade or Ruby Granger. I don't know, somebody needs to help me study. But yeah, so I think they lied to us. They lied and told us, you know, everything would be better once we went to college and that we wouldn't have to move back home. But as soon as I graduated, I really was housing insecure for a bit, meaning my family did not want to house. My family can house me, but they didn't want to house me. So fuck them. But to be honest, that's why I think they lied. Because it's like, I went to this prestigious elite college that is sister schools of Oxford University, and we're basically Oxford, but like liberal arts version. And it's like, yeah, but I can't fucking find a job and housing insecure. Like, now I'm living with my dad and everything is fine, but I have until December to get a full-time job, or else I have to rethink my housing situation. So, you know, I'm just going to be honest, I really do hope something happens here with us, because I do love making videos. It makes me happy, and I can do it my way. I don't have to listen to anybody else. But that's not for this conversation. So I really, really miss when I lived in Brooklyn my junior year of college. That was literally the best thing for me. I was not on campus. I was in Brooklyn, and I did have to drive to school a lot. But what I liked about it was that I had my roommates who weren't Sarah Lawrence people, so I could talk about other things with them, and that's where I really learned about anti-Zionism, for example, was through my roommates, and having those tough conversations, and having a support system that really cared about me. I don't know, I might want to move back to Brooklyn or Beacon, because Beacon is a really peaceful place, and I just find it really beautiful up there. Or just anywhere near the Hudson Valley, I think I would like. But I feel like I need to be in Brooklyn a little longer so I can, like, really get my YouTube career going. But I don't know. I don't really know the secret. I've Googled so many times and researched and tried analyzing other people's accounts, trying to figure out what the secret is, but I don't think there's a secret, and I think that's okay. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So my mental health overall is pretty bad, I would say. Like, I get up at 12 and I'm like, why am I still alive? And I think it's the lack of stimulation. Like, you know, I used to have to wake up and be at class and read more than one book a week, and it's like, I've been on the same fucking book for like a month now. But when I was at school, I could read a book a week, and just like, I was very on it. And to be perfectly transparent, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I had a small friend group that I'm really appreciative to, but I didn't have people that I like hung out with. So, like, in general at that school, I really went because I wanted to study what I wanted to study. I wanted to study trans men and trans masculine people, because the research is so heavily focused on trans femme people and trans women. And I was like, hey, what about us, you know? And I also studied a little bit of Jewish studies, so I got to study my own history, which is really cool. But the people there are really, it depends who you talk to. Like, it depends who you talk to, honestly. But, you know, back at home, it's like all my friends from my hometown moved. Some of them are still in Brooklyn, so I'm actually visiting someone today, which is nice. I'm excited for that. But I basically, I don't really feel as stimulated. I don't feel motivated to do the job search process, because you have to write cover letters, and it's like exhausting, and it takes a lot out of you. so I don't really know what I'm gonna do. And I wanted to talk about how, like, getting all A's didn't save me. You know, people talk about, oh, if you graduate, like, magna cum laude, and it's like, my school doesn't have that. Like, you just graduate what you graduate with. I got all A's, and I'm at home, isolated from my community. So it's like, yeah, okay, great. I do think, however, that the way I got the A's is what matters. Because Sarah Lawrence is really built on, or rooted in, curiosity and, like, willingness to learn. So as long as you're you're curious, you're absorbing the information, you're questioning things, I think that is what matters, not the A's. For example, I did get 1B from Julie Abraham, who is the LGBTQ studies professor. And yes, that is really shocking because that's what I studied, and I may want to be a professor too one day. But I always came in with questions, insight, and willingness to learn. And I think that is the most important thing, because that is what people look for when you're out in the real world. And I do think that B is not indicative of the work I did, because I know that I did my best. And this was when I was on like a med trial, like they were trying different meds for me, and I was like up all night, or I was sleeping during the day, and getting a B under those circumstances is literally like it's like, like, what? So I think, like, I'm proud of myself for getting 1B, like, whatever. But I do think, it's hard to know what they want, especially at Sarah Lawrence, what the professors want. But if you just bring your full self, and even if you say, I don't understand this passage, that's fine. That's what they want you to do, is engage. Anyways, my future video plans are to keep making the fashion videos that we all know and love. And if you want me to talk more about my mental health, I can do more videos about that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I did have like a slight plan, but I kind of rambled for most of it. But yeah, basically, I'm a hot mess, I'm depressed as fuck, and I gotta figure out my housing by December, or else I'm gonna be fucking fucked. So yeah. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.